Welcome back to All Things Scientology, where we pull back the curtain every week on Wednesdays on the abusive practices of Scientology. We are your hosts, Claire Headley.
And Amy Scobee. Well, hello, everybody. One of the first things that I want to do is always find out where it is that you're watching from because, boy, we are an international show. I mean, people are watching from all over the world. I've already seen people saying where they're from. And so
Yes.
I want to acknowledge those at the outset, if it's okay with you, Claire. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to Brisbane, Australia, even already here. Mexico.
Mexico, Nebraska. You do too.
S-
I'll do too.
Okay. Central Arkansas, Ohio.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Hemet, California. Oh my God, I'm
Oh
so
my
sorry.
gosh.
The Panhandle of Florida,
Palm Harbor and New Hampshire.
Pennsylvania, and Arkansas,
Ottawa, Canada, and Milwaukee.
Denmark, and Minnesota. Wow,
Nice.
look at all this.
Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, and shout out to Liz Ferris in the chat. Great to see you here, Liz. Thanks for joining us. Oh, and somebody from Glasgow, Scotland, even.
Awesome. Here's Newcastle, Australia, and Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's funny. Liz Ferris wrote she's in Hawaii, California. That's a good one.
I wish I was in Hawaii, not California.
Yeah. What about Burt Pineapple at Osa St. Hill?
Oh, okay, we have some funny ones coming through. See, I told you we're totally universal.
They're already
How
playing
about
with us. Hey now, guys, we're not going down that rabbit hole this week. You may have fooled me once, but you ain't gonna fool me again.
yeah. No, that last one, the one with it in orbit or whatever, that was the perfect way to end off last time. But anyway, thank
Yes.
you everybody. Look at all these I mean, it's all over the world. It's all over the world, and I'm so happy that you're all here.
Yes,
So,
very
of
definitely. Thanks
course,
for joining us. Always an amazing time with my lovely dear friend Amy Scobee.
yes, I love being with you, Claire. You know that we had a hour-long conversation yesterday, and I thought, man, could you imagine if that was videoed? That would have been funny.
Oh my
But no,
goodness. Yes, it would be
we tell
hilarious.
each other, yes, we tell each other everything, and it's fun. And you're just precious. And
You are too. I so appreciate you. Seriously.
yeah,
Sincerely.
well,
I
yeah.
really do. It's it's tough sometimes with what we've been through,
Oh
We
gosh.
can try and make it seem easy, but it's not always, and that's the honest to God truth.
No, and that's why we're a support team for each other too.
Yes.
Not everybody, honestly, I mean,
No.
it isn't everybody, but we have been through the same jungle together.
We sure have.
And that sure
Even
makes a
even the
difference.
same took the same path through the same jungle.
Oh my God. And it was the one that had all the obstacles
Yeah.
imaginable.
Yeah, it was like the what do you call it? The Spartan race of 10Ks kind of thing, like
Yeah,
next level.
exactly. I think of Hunger Games, when you're getting up there and it's
Yes.
just a few people left and it's just cutthroat.
Oh my
That's what I
gosh, I
think
know.
of.
Yeah, cringe. Oh my goodness. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
the shadows in my mind don't like going there, but it's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
and talking about things is just so therapeutic and so helpful.
Yep.
So here we go. We're going to talk about things.
Yes.
um,
Yep, yep,
one
yep.
of the topic that we're going to do a week in review in just a second, but I wanted to just say, since we're talking about it, the topic that we're going to take up today is lies Scientologists believe. And it's good to talk about that every once in a while. And boy, my mind I just kept writing and writing, and I thought, man, is this list even, does it even end? And obviously we're not going to take up all these things today, but we'll take up some of them. But it's really interesting, um, on how you believe what you're told, kind of in
Yes.
there, and
You know,
they can.
yeah. Yeah, no, you literally just brought to mind the one of the biggest lies in Scientology. Not that we're going to dive into it, I just didn't want to forget it.
Oh, what
In
is it?
Scientology, They say what's true for you is what's true, and nothing could be further from the truth in Scientology.
No, and I wrote that down at first, but then I took it off the list only because I say they're lies that Scientology believes. Now, it's true that what's true for you is that what you observe yourself. The thing is, like in Scientology, though, no, it ain't. It
Yes.
isn't. It,
Yes.
it you get. Oh boy, we're on. Okay, you what's called false data stripping.
Yep.
Hi, Matt. Everyone says.
Hi, Matt. Hello.
You get your crashing misunderstood word finding, your false data stripping, your what's called cramming, and all these different things done on you if you don't agree with the text of Scientology. You must have either hidden false data, or crashing misunderstood word or something like that, and you don't get away with just with getting past that. You don't
No.
you go into false data stripping, and it's a whole procedure. I've got until you change your mind.
Yep.
And they mold your mind. So yeah, that's a perfect one to talk about how they say think for yourself and only what you observe is true or whatever, and it's just not in Scientology. They will
Nope.
mold your ideas until it conforms to what they believe.
Yep. What's
Yes.
true for you is true, so long as it's what we say is true.
What's true for you is what we freaking tell you. Get it through your
Yeah,
head.
exactly.
Totally.
So leave your thinking cap at the door, folks.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and do the week in review now, and then we're going to go on to the next whole phase of the lies Scientology believes.
Perfect. And somebody was asking, and yes, we always will end with Q&A on our midweek fun here. So there you go. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, and shout out to my hubby Blown for Good, Scientology Exposed. I see he's jumped in the chat here. Thanks for joining us.
He? Oh, I didn't see him. Well, hello, Mark.
I didn't see his comment, but I saw someone responding to him that indicated, with the @ so you can tell that they are actually there.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, well, we didn't see your comment, Mark. You need to say it again or not. Okay, so here's the week in review. Yes. Let's see what we got going on this week. New videos that were released this week. Bam. So it says Leah Remini's bombshell Scientology lawsuit, and this is you with Andrew Gold.
Yes.
Now, that video already has 138,525 views on it, just so you know.
Wait, sorry, how many?
138,525.
Boom. Nice.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
it's always fun chatting with Andrew Gold. We could have him on with us one week if we wanted to.
We probably should.
Yeah, that
I'd
would
like
be
to
fun.
I'd like to talk to him.
Yeah, and he covers a lot of Scientology, but not just Scientology. So anyway, he always asks really good questions. He's become very knowledgeable, so it's easy to have a conversation. And I mean, it's truth be told, actually, I revise that. It's become easy to have a conversation with anybody because Scientology has become this strange phenomena in pop culture that a lot of people know a lot about.
It's interesting. Yeah. You don't have to clarify every single word every single time because, oh yeah, we got you. We know all about that.
Exactly. I know. It's fascinating, actually. Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story a bit later on anyway, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
So my
forget.
face is not frozen on the screen here for the next 10 minutes.
Oh, we have more of you coming up. Here we go.
Okay.
Then you did an interview.
Yes.
Yeah, with Liz Ferris.
Yes, that was a great conversation. Liz is amazing. I love her heart. I'm so glad that she reached out to us because,
Absolutely. I watched that whole video today. I just love her and I love you.
Oh, thank you.
And what is being done to help with regards to Bob, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit too. I've got, more to say on that. So,
Awesome.
and then the next one was an interview that you did with Catherine Spolino.
Yes, the author of The Bad Cadet. Catherine
Mm-hmm.
is a joy to speak with. We had her on
Yeah.
our show,
Mm-hmm.
and I read her book, and so we went into deeper conversation. It's a really good book, a great insight into what it's like growing up as a child in the Sea Organization, which obviously I can relate. I didn't grow up in the same cadet org, but she was in LA, I was in UK, so it was a great conversation.
Yeah, yeah. She's a total sweetheart. Just
She
her whole
is.
vibe. I love her. Yeah. So that was awesome. And then you were on 60 Minutes Australia. It says
Yes.
Scientology's devious tricks to hold its members hostage for life. 60 Minutes Australia. Do you want to say something about that?
I thought it came out good. Obviously, we can't always have complete control over everything, but I think they did a very good job of what they covered was excellent. And
Mm-hmm.
I sure wish it really does highlight the lack of US media stepping up to the plate to exert pressure on this evil organization that currently is getting away with fair game and has for 7 decades. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the show was fantastic, that they were asking the right questions. I liked how they did the dramatic reenactments as well, because it gives a person a lot more understanding of what they're talking about,
Yes.
And I just think, yeah, somebody's mentioning Jenna Hill did one with 60 Minutes too. I saw that as well.
Yep.
Also really good. So yeah, okay, Australia, you're leading the pack here. So US media,
Yeah, they
with it.
also did the Where's Shelley major piece with a few years back with Mike Rinder, Leah Remini, and Tony Ortega. That was more coverage than has been done here in the US by a long shot. So yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And it was amazing because I have an aunt that lives in Australia, and I actually haven't met her in person since I was 2 years old. She's on my father's side of the family.
Yeah.
She babysat me when I was 1 and 2 years old, and she messaged me and she was like, I just saw you on television.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Boy, if you ever go over there, take me with you, because I have some
Yes.
people
I
over there
actually
that I
have
love.
2 aunts. One lives in Australia, one lives in New Zealand, and then on my mom's side, I have an uncle that lives in Australia. So,
So you
yeah,
have a good excuse to go.
definitely on our list. Yes, exactly. So we'll get over there and
Nice.
visit those family.
Nice. Now, I did a screen capture from this show from this 60 Minutes that I want to show. So there's Mark and
Yes.
Claire sitting on the porch, and both of them have their SP cups.
Yes, and mine is the one that you made for me.
That's right. It says SPTV, Claire Headley, and it says exposing the cult of Scientology. Where is Shelley?
Exactly. I
Yes.
know, it's
And you were like
perfect.
taking a drink out of it. You could see the
Yes.
cup and everything. Anyway, I thought
I
that
know
was
Mark
fun.
was like, man, we could have at least pulled the weeds before they did, because we didn't realize what
Oh,
they were looking at. There was just a couple of weeds. He's like, it
you
drove his
kids.
OCD or whatever you call it nuts.
That's what I have. It's so funny you should say that. I just gotta say one thing. Oh,
Yeah.
Mark and I are so similar in so many different ways, but,
Yes.
I remember the first time I was gonna meet Matt's parents. They were gonna come from Florida to meet us up in Washington, right? And we're at this rented house, and I'm, like, trying to clean the thing frantically, totally worried about meeting his parents for the first time, and I'm, like, cleaning the door jamb to the entrance of the house, cleaning it, and then, like, trying to do paint touch-ups, and Matt's like, they're gonna walk in, put down their suitcases, and it's. And I said, "This is the first thing they're gonna see." So sick. And then when they got there, literally, it was just bags down on the ground, hugs, eat snacks. Nobody noticed anything about anything. It was just anyway. And Matt was like, "Remind me never to have guests again." I was so wound up about it, but
Oh
I mean,
my
I'm over it
gosh.
now, way over it
Yes.
now, but
Yes.
that was really funny.
Yep.
Okay,
No,
so
absolutely. I would have been doing the exact same thing. I often do. I just can't help myself. I don't know.
I know. I know. It's so funny. I used to be like everything had to be in its place at all times. And if anything's like cockeyed, I could tell right away.
Yep.
But you know, I'm getting over it and I'm letting my desk be messy for the day or whatever, and I'll get to it tomorrow, which is really unusual for me, but you know.
I know. The amount of times we'd be like, I'm going to stay up all night and get everything filed. And then now I'm just
Mhm.
like, yeah, I can't do that anymore. I'm too damn old. And anyway, I can't actually, like, when I don't get enough sleep, my mind just it goes back to bad spots. So I'm like, yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah.
I'm gonna get my sleep. And
Oh yeah.
I've I've learned to appreciate what's most important.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, well, I did a video this week and it was called Where's the FBI? Will
Yes.
Scientology beatings, torture, and imprisonment continue to go unpunished? I mean, I'm so worked up over this because so much work. I pulled all the original stuff and I've done a Freedom of Information Act request to get the documents as well because so much work and information was exposed to the FBI. And they traveled the entire country
Mhm.
talking to people who witnessed abuse, who were involved in hunting people down and bringing them back against their will and entrapping people and torture and all these things that were revealed. And so I laid out in this video, which I'd like people to see if they haven't seen yet, the actions that were taken and what was revealed. And it's my call out to the FBI. Like, you know, that's one of the biggest questions we get asked is why isn't anybody doing anything about these people?
Yep.
And it's a valid question, and I don't
It
know the
totally
answer.
is. No, we do not have the
Not for
answers.
lack.
It's not for lack of us taking
Exactly.
action. Trust me. I mean, even everything we talk about, there's 50% and more going on behind the scenes that you have no idea about
Yes.
because we're trying to do everything absolutely humanly possible
Hmm.
at our expense and at great cost in terms of time and effort. It's not for any lack of action on our end, and I can honestly
No.
truly say that. So yeah, we
Yeah.
need to keep exerting the pressure and we need to demand action because it is not okay. And as we know, it's historically, just look at the trajectory, it's only going to get worse,
Yeah.
statistically and factually. So
Yeah. And the people
yeah.
who are doing it have gotten away with it. So, and there's evidence of some of the similar things going on in the present time. So
Yep.
it's not gone.
Nope.
So, and
It's
we're
not,
not
and
going
they
away.
haven't changed, they haven't changed their policies. They may say that they may temporarily adjust some things, but the
Hmm.
fact of the matter is they always do the same old, same old, same old. They are incapable of change because L. Ron Hubbard policy is what they follow. And so
Yeah.
the practices they've had in place are continuing. That's just how it is. So that's why we're here continuing to exert pressure where it needs to be exerted. Because yeah.
Yeah. Because one of the first things in change, I think, is awareness. So we're bringing about awareness to the people who have never been in so that they can spread the word. Don't let any of your family members go in Scientology.
Yep.
And anyone who's out, let them know that you're there for them so that they know they have a place to go if they break out.
Yep.
And then, so after my FBI video, Matt had his 2 cents.
Matt's
So
2 cents. I love that.
he had more like $50. um, but it's a really good video, and I did all the graphics for it, and there's a couple surprise graphics in there, so you got to see it. And so I always appreciate his viewpoint being added on things because he's badass. If I do
Yes.
say so myself.
Yes. Yes. Mark will be coming back to his channel one of these days. I know people have been complaining. They're like, Claire's great, but where's Mark? I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, this is why we teamed up the way we did, because Mark's day
Work.
job keeps him busy. And
Yeah.
yeah, anyway.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we're all a team. We figure it out.
Yes. Yep.
We do miss you, Mark, though.
We do. I know. I totally miss. I'm just glad he's home now at least. And
Yes.
this year, man, I don't know what's up with
I
this
know.
year, but 2023
Yeah.
is one that has been one heck of a roller coaster ride. Oy, oy, oy.
I know, but it's gonna end up really good, I think.
I know it is. I know it is.
Yeah.
I know that. I really do. But
Mhm.
there's been some really hard moments too. And,
Oh,
anyway, it's all good.
yeah, yeah. Don't let those overshadow any of the good ones.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, there's some challenges we're still facing.
Yep.
Now, here is the comment of the week.
All right.
So this is sent to me by Claire. I'm gonna make my screen big so I can read it good.
Okay.
It says,
I
"This
can
is
read it for
from."
you if you want.
No, because it's all about you, so I'm gonna read it 'cause I'm gonna
Oh,
brag
okay.
on you. I'm gonna brag
Oh,
on you right
oh
now.
my
Yeah.
gosh, you're gonna make me cry.
No, the Joni is gonna make you cry. So this is from Joni Caldwell, and Joni, you've won the comment of the week. It says, "I'm really not sure how YouTube pointed me to the SPTV community, but I'm captivated by the stories and heartbroken for all of you and what you're going through. As a never-end viewer, I am left wondering how all of the information you make public doesn't result in arrests and punishment, or at least an investigation. It's scary how so many consistent voices can be ignored. Watching you on the 60-minute special today is the trigger for my reaching out to you. You are an incredibly well-spoken, confident, and unflappable spokesperson. There doesn't seem to be a question that stumps you. Always ready with a thoughtful and detailed response, you have a professional yet bring it on attitude that makes me cheer from the sidelines, and I'm sure I'm only one of many that are inspired by you. You may be tiny, but you have a powerful voice. My favorite of the programs is the Wednesday program with you and Amy. I
Yay.
just wanted you to know that there are people like me out here that donate when we can, subscribe to your channels, like the episodes, and watch to the very end. This message comes with a virtual hug for all of you because after hours of connecting, you feel like friends. Best
Oh,
regards,
thank you
Joni."
so much, Joni. You're so
I
sweet, and
know.
that's so kind. It really
Yeah.
is. And honestly, I honestly would just say I love you back. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. This is absolutely an amazing community that does inspire me to keep going, because there are days when I'm like just ready to throw in the towel.
I know.
It's like, "Ah,
All you
kick
have to do
and
is push
punch and
one
stamp."
more inch, push me one more inch, and it's
Yes.
over.
Yes. So thank you so much. That's very, very kind. And
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. So you get to give the award for Joni. Okay?
Yes, Joni, please email me, claire@blownforgood.com, and I'll give you your choice. We have SP bracelets, we have Mike Rinder bobbleheads, anything from the merch store, the Blown for Good merch store, or a signed copy of Mark's book signed by both Mark and I. Whatever you'd like, it's yours for the picking.
Yay. Okay. So now here's the next thing. What's coming up next week? I wanted to add that section to the week in review so that people can. Goldie does a great job of saying this is what's coming, and stuff. If you're not paying attention to the chat, maybe you need to know this. So I wanted to include some of the things that are coming up. Also, she doesn't know all the things coming up. Some of
No.
it's
Yes, we do have some surprises up our sleeves.
Yes. So the first one is live court TV interview with Claire. So that's tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time.
Yes.
You want to say anything about that?
No, we'll see what's coming. I haven't
Yeah.
yep. I'm not sure, but we'll find out.
They didn't give you an agenda.
Nope, they did not.
Yeah.
But my plan is
Scientology
to
related.
quote fair game policy and reiterate the fact that there have been many people harmed by Scientology, and shine that light.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. And then the next one is Saturday from 2 p.m. to midnight Eastern is a chatathon, Save Bob Ferris fundraiser. And both of us are going to be participating in that as well. I'm going to be going on at 7 p.m. Eastern for some, I think a half hour is the slot or something like that. I don't know if you
Nice.
have one designated yet for when you're going to be on there.
I don't. We have some schedule challenges, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. At least to pop in, because we definitely support you.
Completely.
Liz and all the people who were sponsoring that. So we love you for doing that, and we definitely give you our support.
Yes, definitely.
And then the next thing is also on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll be alive with Mark and Janice, since 12 August is Sea Org Day. So we're going to discuss our SO Day experiences. And Matt will be there too, and he's got some really funny stories. And I wanted to put in a plug for Peeling the Onion, our Scientology stories, Peeling the Onion, because they interviewed Jim Mortland last week, which was my ex-husband of 17 years. And this is the first time that he's spoken out in 18 years. So
wow.
I was super happy to see him on there. And it was a good show.
That's amazing.
I remember a couple things a little different than him when it comes to me, but
yeah, that's okay.
but I'm the ex. I'm the ex that's supposed to be like that. But anyway, first time in 18 years. I'm super happy that happened.
That's amazing.
Yes. And then the next one is Claire interviews Bryce Watson of Esoteric Atlanta.
Yeah, sorry. This is my fault because I threw this at you at the last minute. So Bryce Watson has a YouTube channel, Esoteric Atlanta. Great. She has an amazing following. She interviewed me actually for her channel. And so that will be coming out tomorrow morning. And oh my gosh, what an amazing conversation I had with Bryce. Yeah, I'll tell you more about that when we're done with the weekend review. Yeah, because we're going to do a bunch more things. She was just amazing. But the one funny story I will say that Bryce brought up, she was like, she and her boyfriend follow SPTV religiously. And she was like telling the story about one day Mark was on a Monday Night Live and was telling the story of him riding on the back of Tom Cruise's motorcycle. And then she's like, yeah, and we're listening. And then Mark just plops in like a little bitch. And they just were dying laughing. And her boyfriend was like, rewind that. So now it's become a thing in their house. Like her boyfriend will go to pick up the poop for Rocky. And he'll be like, yep, I'm picking up Rocky's poop like a little bitch.
Mark and his one-liners that just hit you so hard.
I know. Seriously, like humor. Yeah, but it was amazing though too because talking about contrast, we were doing some contrast between Scientology and yoga teachings and belief and things like that. And one of them was that laughter is very healing and very therapeutic. And I was like, oh yeah, not in Scientology, man. It's like laughter is what is it? I just said it earlier today. Laughter is a form of rejection. And jokers and degraders, it's frowned upon, like as there's
glee
it's
of insanity.
Yes, exactly. Glee of insanity. And so it's completely opposite because in the one belief system, laughter is healing and therapeutic. And we always talk about that. We're like, why, if we can't laugh about it, what can we do? What is going to be entertaining to watch us both sit here bawling our eyes out? I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe somebody would pay for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't even look good when I start crying. I'm like a very messy crier. My whole face blotches up. You can ask Mark. It's not pretty.
Well, in the Sea Org, if you're laughing, really, you're considered idle. It's like, what are you doing? Get back to work,
Yes.
So
yes.
I had 30 years of that crap, or 27 stupid years of all that crap. And I disagree with it 100%. And joy is, it's precious.
It absolutely is. And
Yeah.
hey, despite everything we've lived through, we have that in our day-to-day
Yeah.
lives. And I'm grateful for that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Let's see if I missed anything.
Oh, and
Um,
so sorry. So yeah, on
yeah,
number 4. So my
yeah.
interview, I did another Scientology Stories interview with Cindy Plahuta. She is the mom nature never gave me. It's a great conversation, and that will be airing on the Blown for Good channel tomorrow. I think 8 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm not sure, but either way, it's a pre-recorded interview, so it's not going to be live. But she made me
Yeah.
cry.
She did? Oh,
She
the
did.
ugly kind of cry with the blotches? We
No,
gotta
I
see
got it
this.
under control really quickly, but I was just like, "Oh my goodness, I haven't started crying in an interview before." Uh,
Oh, well, that sounds wonderful. And then lastly, so I have a couple of videos up my sleeve, which I won't say what they are yet, but make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you're notified. And we might as well say right now, I'm going to throw some banners up here, is please subscribe to both of our channels, Queen Bee SP and Blown for Good, for continued exposure of the cult of Scientology. And so of all those people that are watching right now, if you're not subscribed on my channel, if you could just subscribe, and you should be watching on both channels, just mute one of them.
there you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Is there anything else we should say? Visit our channels, visit our websites. We both have websites. My Scobee Publishing. This is what Matt says all the time. With Scientology, it's always worse than you think.
Yes, Mark
That's
says
his.
that all the time too. It's
Does he?
always,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
always. Yeah. So that was that. And then I wanted to see, you wanted to say a few words on an update on Serge. How
Yes,
he's doing.
absolutely. Yeah, no, Serge is doing great. He has been reading all the comments on the documentary. He was so appreciative of the very kind words of support, and also some donations that came through for him personally, which we forwarded to him. He was like, "Yay!" Anyway, no, he's doing great, and the best part is that a number of people who knew Serge growing up in LA, actually, of which one was Liz Ferris, have now reconnected with Serge, and that is just huge. It means so much to him. Like the
That's
second he would
awesome.
finish a phone call, he calls Mark and I like, "Oh, I just had a conversation with such and such," and we're like, "Oh, that's amazing." It's just really good. It's kind of like this healing human element that is just so important for him. Really,
I
nothing
really
else
love
to say
that.
about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's just awesome.
Yes.
Okay, and then just a little quick thing. Gonna throw my little puppies
Oh,
in.
look at the
So,
puppies.
so on
Oh.
the left, you see them after they came back from the grooming. I personally like Mango to have some more fur than that. So, but it grows so fast it'll come back. But I'm not going to cut them that short after that. But over here, this is me putting. I bought a puzzle. I just bought a puzzle for Matt, and I put it together just so that I could show him what it was and stuff. And little Kiwi has the ability, now that he's a little bit bigger, to jump up to the dining room table. If he pulls like the tablecloth or something like that, everything can come down. He
Oh
discovered.
boy.
I was folding towels or something like that. He pulled the towel down and down came the puzzle. So I put it all together, taped it all together, whatever, and posted it up on the wall. And you can see the little pieces that they chewed are
Oh
out
my
of there.
gosh. Yes, I see. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So there's Matt's puzzle. Oh my gosh. Anyway, you can't get mad at them. They're too cute.
Yep.
And then you just sent this to me. Now, this is a close up of something here.
Yes,
Milk
this
carton.
is from Michelle Carpenter. She made this on her
And that
fancy dancy crafting machine.
and
And
it's
yep.
milk carton size. It's milk carton
Yes.
size. And I blew it up a little bit so I could read it. It says missing Shelley Miscavige, and it gives born this place, this date, and it says last seen so and so. If you have any information, contact the Aftermath Foundation. And then this is where it was placed.
Boom.
right next to Kansas City org welcome sign.
Yep.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. So
And the crazy part is that current Scientologists, unfortunately, don't know who Shelley Miscavige is. So something like this, it will make them go, wait a minute, who? You know what I mean? And it's just insane. Anyway, it's absolutely a very important message that we keep shouting from the rafters. Where is Shelley? And I felt bad because I had a technical difficulty last week, so I flunked on putting out a video on Tuesday this week, but I will be back on track for next week.
you flunked. That's a
I did.
flunk.
I know. I was like,
I hate that word. I
oh,
really hate that word. Like Matt says, sometimes he'll just say flunk, and I was like, bug off.
yeah,
Tell me flunk on anything.
yeah,
I hate that word. You're flunked all the time in Scientology. That's a flunk, if they didn't like something that you did.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so you did not flunk, okay?
Yes,
You were busy, and you're gonna put it up this week. No problem at
yeah,
all. And plus, look at all the things you did do, so don't give yourself a flunk.
yep.
Yeah. Well, that was it on the weekend of review, and it also tells you what's coming up for this week.
Yep. Lots
Yeah.
of good stuff coming.
Mhm. So here we go with lies Scientologists believe. Okay, so the first one I have listed down here is disconnection is a choice.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah,
That is such a lie that Scientologists believe because they're told that it's their choice, but then they're told it's policy and you have to enforce the policy.
yep,
So, and it's not willing. I mean, I remember when my mom was forced to disconnect from me, it was kicking and screaming. She disagreed 100%, and but unless she was supposed to separate from her husband and her livelihood and her dogs and house and have no other means of support or whatever, she had to disconnect from me because her husband was still in Scientology,
yeah.
who we did get out after a couple years, but we did finally get him out of there.
Which is
But
amazing. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
but
have an email my mom sent me a few days after I escaped, in which she said, I mean, it was very laden with Scientology
yeah,
language, but she, in so many words, said, I'm being watched. I can't speak freely. This is going to be my last message to you. And please, get back in good standing, do what you need to do. I can't stand this. But again, she was having, I have 3 half siblings who are all like 10, 12 and 14 years younger than me. So
mm,
what kind of choice is it to have to choose between children, really? And
yeah,
her husband, my stepdad, is a devout Scientologist.
hmm,
I think she didn't work for a Scientologist, but he was running the Beverly Hills mission at the time, the Beverly Hills franchise, whatever.
yeah,
Anyway, I
yeah.
know, no choice at all. No
No,
choice.
they have to enforce the policy. It's L. Ron Hubbard policy, and it has to be enforced and applied exactly. And if someone is declared a suppressive person, doesn't mean it has to be just, but if they're declared a suppressive person, then automatically that means you have to disconnect.
Right.
Um, and you know, they L. Ron Hubbard said that the suppressive people are only 2% of the population, and 80% are good people or whatever. Well, 80% have been declared, and there's 2% psychos left.
Yeah.
That's my.
Osa, Osa and L. Ron Hubbard are not very good at math.
We're all out here being SPs. So
Yep.
anyone, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, that's the thing that's, like Mark says continuously, it's going to be the bane of their existence is this disconnection.
Yep.
Because this is families. These are families, and it's blood, and you can't just, throw it away. That's how come I can't just let go. I still have family in there. It's Matt's brother and his wife and kid. Still in there, forced disconnection, wouldn't even see his parents who had never been in Scientology before they died. How did they deserve that?
Right.
This is Scientology. That's a good example. You're a bunch of creeps, man.
Yeah, completely.
So the next one is, if something bad happens to you, you pulled it in because something bad you did somewhere on your time track. If it wasn't yesterday, it was on your whole track. So you're always trying to figure out, what did I do to pull this in? In fact, isn't that like a common statement? What did I do to pull that in?
Right. Yeah, completely. So in my conversation with Bryce Watson that's coming out tomorrow, she was kind of shedding some light on some of the basic, principles that are taught in Scientology and how Hubbard ripped those off from other places, which is not new to us. But one of them was the reactive mind, which I was like, wow, okay.
Really?
Yeah. And another one was this concept of pulling it in,
Really?
because it's a twisted version of the concept
Karma?
of karma. Yeah. Except that with karma, it's got a positive spin. Like if something happens, it's because you need this to happen to become a better person. It's not because of you did something bad. And again, I'm sure I'm not giving the concept justice the way that Bryce talked about it. But you just go, wow, I know it was beautiful. And also too, we had a great conversation too about, types of people and how like we, the creative people, the people who are, changing things and doing things, they're shining light and bringing light and creating light. The darkness is, we don't need to talk about that part. Anyway, it was really interesting to hear her perspective. And that was a lot of her like beef with L. Ron Hubbard. Is like, how can you butcher such beautiful concepts and make them just like part of a control mechanism to keep people under control? I know, it was fascinating.
Like manipulating information that has some truth in it so that it will get your attention and then somehow twist it to control you.
Yes.
I mean, manipulative, huh?
Yeah. And it's a mimic of something that's actually creating light, and also then pretending to be the source of that light when he's not.
I mean, he gave himself that name. That's one of the things I have all these. There's a long list of lies about L. Ron Hubbard that Scientologists believe that aren't true. And that's a whole world in itself. I wrote down just a couple of them later that we'll take up later on. But yeah. I mean, I was in there might as well talk about it right now.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
I was in there for 27 years. I thought that he only was married to Mary Sue Hubbard and had his 4 little cute redhead kids. I didn't know anything else. And then, so I thought he only had 1 wife and 4 children, and he's like the epitome of a perfect example of knowing relationships and knowing how to keep them together. And he's an authority on this stuff. And so all of his technology on this, really listen to it because it's really good, because he's an example. But no, he had 3 wives and 7 children. So he had, I wrote it down. Who the heck did he? So in 1933, he married Margaret Polly Grubbs and had 2 children, L. Ron Hubbard Jr., known as Nibs, and Catherine. And then in 1946, he married Sarah Northrup and he had a daughter named Alexis. Then in 1952, he married Mary Sue and had 4 kids, Quentin, Diana, Arthur, and Suzette. So how is he an authority on relationships? And he even denies his second wedding. Marriage to Sarah, and that he even had the daughter Alexis.
Yeah, and have you seen a picture?
Like
exactly. Yes.
She looks more like L. Ron Hubbard than he does.
Totally. Oh my gosh, when you look at that picture, you're like, wow, that is crazy. Completely.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, that's his kid.
So I'm curious, what version of events did you hear about what happened to Mary Sue Hubbard? Because the the parallels of what's happened now with Shelley are stunning to me.
Yeah. Well, when I was in, I didn't know anything. You know, I was so oblivious, like head in the sand. I was just doing my job, and all the external stuff wasn't my business, and it was being taken care of by the Office of Special Affairs. I did hear that there were certain people, and I forget their names now, that were taking care of her. And I thought, oh, that's good that she has people taking care of her. Yeah, but they were her handlers and her, whatever. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Um, Keeping her confined and stuff like that,
Did you
But
know about
so
the people that went to jail?
how what did I know when I was in there? I found out all this afterwards, and when I read that whole thing about what happened, I was completely shocked, and I also was super, super embarrassed because I remembered, like, it started clicking things in my mind of, like, we had containers full of L. Ron Hubbard documents that we were vetting, like cutting out his name, blacking things out, shredding, and just missions, projects were doing that flat out full time. And it was probably because, considering that there was going to be an FBI investigation, and L. Ron Hubbard couldn't be
Mm,
tied to any of these things.
yeah.
So we were doing that just like around the clock, getting it done, And I was
Wow.
thinking I was helping to cover up a crime, I realized, but I didn't know that stuff when I was in there.
No, no, I know. I mean, yeah, I know. That's why I was asking because,
Yeah,
people assume that, oh, we knew everything.
yeah.
There's very much siphoning of information and siphoning of data. And yes, there are some things that are generally known, but most sensitive information is kept very guarded.
Like I knew that they did a reorg of the GO, because I knew that the GO was there and now it's OSA, so it was a reorg.
Yep.
And then I remember somebody telling me that that person used to be GO, so he's not qualified to come back on staff. And I thought, I wonder why.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So it's interesting because you can be in such an isolated and insular world, where you just don't even know what's happening next door to you. And
Yes.
the other thing was, you didn't even know what was happening on other, like, Flag didn't know what was happening in Clearwater from, in LA. PAC, it's CW and PAC, let's say. They didn't know what was happening between the two. I mean, one could just be. So that's why it's also, Scientology is also able to say, um, we're a household word, worldwide acceptance. All orgs are booming except for the one that you're in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And that's all your fault. It's nothing to do with us.
Yeah, because they see that their organization is totally struggling, but they are told that all orgs around the world are doing great, and they think that they're the only one. But let me just break it to you. They're all sucking and not expanding, and they are not. The only reason Scientology is a household word is not for any positive reason,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yep, absolutely. And always
Hmm.
there, I will credit the Leah Remini Scientology in the aftermath and going clear, as I just believe those were the two major pieces that did change the public perception in relation to Scientology. Before, it was always, oh, that's just that crazy thing that Tom Cruise does, where he jumps on couches. And post, very real knowledge of very, very real abuse, very real families destroyed, lives destroyed, and, real real people who telling real stories, even the whole way that those stories were presented. I think Mark and I had participated in some things before, and it was kind of like dark and it's like true crime, and none of that needs to be part of any Scientology story. It's just, this is what happened, and this is what they do. Just
Mm-hmm.
understand, this is what they do. This is real life.
Yeah.
So
And since
yeah.
we're talking about LRH, here's another one. He claimed that he was an LA police officer, but instead he was a security guard for a warehouse while living with his girlfriend in a trailer park. So it wasn't some glorified LA police officer. But like you got they have inside Scientology, they have what's called a Ron mag, and it's just flashy, glossy, the life of L. Ron Hubbard, and it takes apart in all of his life, and just you just think he's the most amazing thing that ever walked this earth. And
Right.
the other thing was that LRH was a war hero. Everyone will tell you in Scientology that LRH was a war hero.
Yep.
And they cured himself of blindness. And that he received all these medals. But later it was proven that the medals that he quote unquote received and that were even pictured in these Ron mags were not even from the United States or the period during the time when he did his service. Just a total, complete, fabricated lie.
Yep. Bald-faced
There's all
lie.
kinds of lies. Oh, I was a blood brother with the whoozy stupid, Indian tribe.
Yeah.
Just all made up crap. And we'd believed it left, right, and center.
Yeah. I know.
Like,
I know. It's anyway.
He can definitely tell a tale.
Yep.
Here's another one. Not about LRH. Those are the ones I picked for LRH. You can go on and on about that guy, but
yeah.
Here's another one, just a basic belief, which is if you complain about anything, you've got a crime against it, like an overt, like a counter survival act against it. And if you speak out publicly, then you're an SP, like a Hitler type. But mainly, if you complain about anything, you have an overt on it. And an overt in Scientology is a counter survival act. So anything. So I didn't like that David Miscavige put his hands on my neck and throttled me. Okay, so number one, you pulled it in. And then number two, you're complaining about it. So what similar overt of your own have you committed?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And
I've been asked that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes.
I've been asked that many
and
times.
Interrogated for hours until you suddenly are like, oh, never mind. Yeah, or even just having a critical thought. Like a critical thought means you've done bad things. Oh, really?
Yeah. So like I can't have a thought about that. I don't want this man's hands around my neck throttling me, Or
but you can't even have a thought that he shouldn't be doing that.
No. Yeah,
because that's a critical thought.
Lost to Scientology. Yeah, it's a critical thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to admit I got evil purposes toward throttling him if he touches me again. But yeah, you're put on the E-meter. And see, there's also this thing about, do you remember rollbacks?
Yes.
It's called RB, rollbacks. And what that is L. Ron Hubbard wrote a whole series of advices about taking a comment that someone says that's black PR, considered, black PR, like let's say we don't get enough pay in the Sea Org. $17.20 doesn't even buy a carton of cigarettes. Okay, so you say that, and then that's
an enemy line. Yeah,
and it's an enemy line.
Yeah. So then you get put on the E-meter, and you asked, when did you start feeling that way?
Mm-hmm. And I started feeling like that,
Yeah, and then you get asked, who were you talking to just before that?
Just before.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to my mom or something. Aha! Because one of the things, like it's supposed to roll back the enemy line to find the psychiatric infiltration into Scientology.
Yeah.
This is really
correct me if I'm wrong, but the some of the context that was given in the writings about this was Sarhan and anyway, oh my gosh, we obviously don't have access to those references, but if we did, we would be able to go to town on that, because it's nuts. Let's just leave it
totally
at that.
nuts. I mean, okay, so the enemy trying to destroy Scientology will start a whisper campaign. This is
Mhm.
what he was talking about. So people on the outside will say different enemy lines, and then that gets spread internally. So you find the person who said it, you roll it back to find out where the source of it is, and then you handle that source. So that's called RB. So I've had hundreds of hours of stupid RBs on enemy lines because apparently I had said a lot of them.
Yeah, and
And
the rollback is also part of the truth
truth
rundown
rundown.
procedure.
Yeah. Yeah. So then all of those stupid things that I took up, then you have to take it up in the truth rundown procedure. And that's why the truth rundown is what the St. Petersburg Times entitled that whole thing was the truth rundown, because that whole procedure. So you then audit out the idea that you said, okay, I'm not getting enough pay. Okay, so now what was my evil purpose prior to having that thought? And you
Yeah.
go until all your evil purposes with regards to your enemy lines. I mean, they're just brainwashing you like crazy. You
Yep.
can't have an original thought. It's not okay. And they're gonna find your evil purposes behind your original thought, and you're not gonna get out of that session until you confess. So
Right.
anyway, that's their wonderful truth rundown and rollback procedures.
Yep.
Anyway,
I
I
had to
get
do many,
I get
many,
quite a
many
bit of stress.
rollbacks, and
Did you?
I did some truth rundown on some people. Yeah.
Sometimes I got put in so many times for rollbacks, and I would just say, "I didn't say that." And somebody said, "It rolled back to you, so you're the source of it," and I said, "I didn't say it." So
You
what
can
else
go
do I
back to the last person. They alter is what I said.
Ugh,
They heard me
God.
wrong.
I get riled up because how many hours do we spend in these F around sessions, where they're just trying to, like, manipulate you and change your
Oh my
mind?
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here, this is something that you know all about. You ready?
Yep. I'm ready.
Any any disagreement with material means you have a prior misunderstood word or false data.
Yep.
So as a supervisor, you ran into that every time. Like somebody
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
say, "Oh, I got a question on this. I don't get it."
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was always, you need to apply this policy exactly. And sometimes you'd get people that were just starting to rebel, and then if they won't find out what words they don't understand or anything else, if they continue on that path, you're actually then supposed to send them to the ethics officer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's not optional. You either find your you find your misunderstood word, sort out your false data, which is false information you've been given that's acting as a held down 7 that's stopping you from understanding it exactly as it is. And if you keep fighting it, then you go as a student, the student can be sent to the ethics officer. Um,
Is
for
held down 7 a real word thing?
I
Like,
don't
isn't
know.
that a sign that because it's in the Admin Dictionary that he came up with it, so that I don't think it's used in the real world.
No,
A held down
we should ask people. Is there such a thing
yeah,
as a held down
held down
7?
7. Do you guys know what that means?
Outside in Scientology, it's the analogy that's given is, if you consider your mind as like a calculator, and the 7 button is broken and it's held down permanently, so it's constantly adding in alterations to what, to correct calculations and evaluations, right? That sums it
Yeah,
up accurately.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what it says because I've got it right here. Let's see. But yeah, that's really it. So anything is gonna be, not, let me go and held down 7.
Like any answers you ask for will come out wrong, um, because of a
Exactly.
broken button in your brain, basically.
And and you're always told, like, "Oh, you got a held down 7." That
Right.
you
Okay.
that's
Somebody's
just your held
saying
down 7.
no. Oh yeah, it's Hubbard doublespeak. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, okay.
We just
Yeah.
found out that Claire had a held down 7.
It's so funny, I heard you say it and I thought, "Oh, I thought that was a Scientology thing," because I was reading through the dictionary, as I do. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
And,
no, absolutely. And the amount of times, we've talked about this before. I will Google and go like, wait a minute, is this a real thing or is this a junk thing, leftover layer?
Garbage.
Yeah.
This person, Jess Gunn says, pure Scientologies. Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry.
There
We're
you
going to
go.
get that out of our vocabulary.
Yep.
And the other thing, like we got to stop calling people terminals.
Oh, I don't do that anymore. Yeah.
Does all the time.
Yeah.
And I say, every time I point it out, because it's just so impersonal. Terminal.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's a lie that Scientologists believe is that the grade chart goes up to OT 15 to handle amnesia on the whole track. And meantime, 30 years ago, David Miscavige announced that OT 9 and 10 were closer than you think. They took in millions of dollars for it, but it was a con because those levels do not exist.
Yep.
They were never done by L. Ron Hubbard, and nobody's suddenly devised OT 9 and 10.
Yep.
If David Miscavige comes out with it, it's just going to be a pure fabrication.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
He will have gotten it from Chat GPT or whatever.
I wonder what that would turn out to be.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. I will say though, Mark showed me some things that Chat GPT is capable of, and I was like, that's kind of amazing, actually.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
haven't experimented. I mean, I asked it a couple definitions, which it gave me, but I haven't really experimented. Here's the next one, which is, it will kill you if you learn the OT3 materials before your case is ready for it. And that LRH broke his back researching these materials.
Yep.
Yeah. So you, as a Scientologist, believe that it's the death to you if you any way hear it at all. So you can't read any material, you can't hear somebody talking about it, you never talk about it as an OT to someone else. And so it's a perfect way to cover up the fact that it's weird.
Yes.
The OT materials are super, super weird because you can't talk about it to anyone. Or
yeah, Mark did an actual real life test on that. He was like, okay, I'm going to read all of them right now. If I'm dead in the morning, then Hubbard was right.
Oh my gosh.
And he read OT1 to OT8. And I was like,
he did. I'm glad he did that.
And then he was like, see, there's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It is the biggest, even everything about the way it's set up is just the most elaborate version of the Emperor's New Clothes you've ever seen. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
It's like, even Hubbard talks about coffee shop auditing. Like, you are not allowed to tell even another Scientologist what you talked about in session. You're not allowed to compare notes. You're not like, for example, it would be a high crime if Amy and I were getting auditing at Flag, and let's say we're sitting down eating lunch, and I'd be like, oh yeah, so I'm doing my OT3 auditing, or even a lower level. It doesn't matter. It's not the level that's at play here. It's just in general. It can be like, and you can be like, oh yeah, I'm doing that too. Oh yeah, how's it going? What are you addressing? Do you feel like you're having gains? You could, like, that is not a conversation you would ever have.
And you especially wouldn't say, I think I was Marilyn Monroe last lifetime.
Yes.
I was Marilyn Monroe last lifetime.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No comparing notes at all. Because if you put the kibosh on talking about anything or sharing notes or doing any of that, it keeps people in the fold.
This person says, in my previous life, I was Elridge's dog, and he told me OT 8 and 10 will sell to DM for $20 million. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. But yeah, so it's just a con, and they took in millions of dollars for OT 9 and 10, and you know what? Give the money back, guys, because you don't have it, and it's not true.
Yep.
So yeah, and OT3 will kill you. No, it won't. Okay. Oh, I love this lie that people believe, and I'm sorry to break it to you. PC folders are confidential. priest, penitent, privileged information, yet everyone can see them. So
Yep.
there isn't anything that's sacred in your PC folder. PC means pre-clear, so it's your case folder. There's nothing sacred in there.
Nope.
They'll
Proof
put it
of that
gladly.
is how quickly they'll whip that out and post it up on your hate site if you dare to say a word edgewise, say something about your true experiences in Scientology.
Yeah.
And anyway, I know it's outrageous. It is a complete fallacy.
Yeah, it's a complete fallacy, and it is something to be worried about, you people who are still in Scientology.
Yep.
You can't trust them at all with your personal information. And we recently spoke to people who are working on leaving and trying to do the right thing so that they don't get declared. And I said, just leave. Don't sign a thing. Don't, they're going to declare you anyway. Just don't sign anything and don't cooperate and don't do anything that they want you to do and just leave.
Yep.
So anyway, that's my recommendation for anyone. Just walk out. Walk out. Don't look back. We'll help you get your life together if you need help, and don't have somebody to go to, but do not cooperate. Do not sign their crap and don't undergo any of their confessionals or sign their stupid affidavits that they write in your name with how terrible you are. Just forget it. Don't do any of it.
Yeah. And I would add to that. Here's the thing. I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't want to destroy my family and da 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 da. Again, hate to be the bearer of bad news. Scientology has already done that. You're crying over spilt milk. It's already done. Anything that happens is not because of anything you do. It's because Scientology has already destroyed the basic building bonds of family for you. So what happens next is not affected by whether you walk out the door and get on with your life or not. It's because of Scientology. So I've just seen it so many times, like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. No, that's not a thing. That
rock it.
The boat
Turn
has already been sunk
down
by Scientology. So just get out of there.
Capsize it.
Oh my
Capsize
gosh.
that mofo.
Yeah, I know. It's like there's this like false
I know
idea that
I know that it's hard because when I first left, I was trying to not rock the boat like a dumb stupid, but listen, I was
too. I was like, oh honey, they said we might not be declared. Maybe we can go back and we can just do our sec checks and cooperate. And Mark was looking at me like, you know what? I appreciate that he didn't just like tell me I was nuts right then and there on the spot.
Yeah.
And as much as it was triggering to even think about going back, I was just desperate. I was like, I just want to be able to talk to my family.
Yeah.
And anyway, of course, then we find out, oh no, we're already declared. My family was told that like 2 months before this whole conversation, they'd said, oh, it's on hold. It was all lies. Lies. Everything was lies.
Oh, blood pressure going.
Yep.
I hate their lies. I hate their lies, and I hate that they can do anything to destroy people's lives. Oh, I hate it.
So if you're in Scientology thinking about leaving, just know it is a lie that your family has not already been destroyed by Scientology. If you can get them out, then great. Perfect. But just know that, because anything else is false.
Yep. Perfect, Claire. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yes. Somebody said in the comments, by the way, Relatable Reese, if you haven't subscribed to her channel, she's part of the growing SPTV network, but someone said Reese said she was trying to not rock the boat and her experience was the best thing that happened.
Getting out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, perfect. Good. Thank you for that. Okay, so here's another lie. Auditing and PTS handlings cure illness and disease. Is that right? The only reason that one gets sick is PTSness, which is being a potential trouble source, which means you're connected to a suppressive person. Okay, so auditing cures illness and disease. Okay. What happened to Kelly Preston, Kirstie Alley, and Chick Corea? All three of them, who for decades were in Scientology, all died from cancer. So,
and they had all
saying,
finished the OT levels where
they were all
Hubbard came up with the technology to address and handle and cure cancer, specifically stated.
Yeah, specifically stated. So I hate to break it to you. What are we going to say? That, well, I guess they were totally PTS and we just didn't know it? Your top celebrities? You didn't know it? Nobody noticed? Come on. It's just a lie that Scientology cures disease and illness. It's a lie.
Yeah, and part of that lie too is that if it doesn't work on you, it's because there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Ah. You know, these three people probably had all the wrong things done with them. You know, because to apply Scientology technology to their illness or whatever. And meantime, look what happened. It's just a lie. And stop selling a bill of goods that's a complete falsehood. They can't prove it whatsoever. And their top celebrities, 3 of their top celebrities have passed away from cancer. Early, like they were young. Okay. I think Kelly Preston and Kirstie Alley were young. Chick Corea was a little bit older, but still too young.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so
and even let's break that down a little further. If you're ill, then it's because you're a potential trouble source. So essentially in Scientology belief, it's not that they say don't go to the doctor, but it's by the belief system. The belief is not that, oh, the doctor is going to fix this. It's that, oh, Scientology is going to fix this. And I'm just connected to someone who's a bad person. And it puts all the focus on that rather than, no, if you're not feeling good, you should see a doctor and there's something going on. You know, it's in the mind of a Scientologist, it's all, wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, it was really hard for me at first to even go see a doctor. It was like, that's like admitting that I'm affect. It's admitting that, I have something wrong. I'm not connected to anything. I'm not a potential trouble source, whatever. But like something's going on with me physically. I actually do need, doctors are there for a reason. Sometimes you need help,
Yes.
But I had to relearn that. Totally relearn that,
Yeah, completely. And some of the funniest conversations Mark and I have. So we both have a piece of paper that says we're suppressive people.
Yes, I have one too.
So already the percentage is really out of whack because in our marriage it's 100% suppressive. Like, wow, not 2.5%. It's 100%. So now here's the question though. So if I get sick, does that mean I'm PTS or am I a PTS suppressive person, or how the heck does that work?
Let's see. I think that you should be chronically sick because you're a chronic SP, right?
Okay.
And nobody can fix you.
Yep. Oh boy, I know, it's crazy. The mental contortions one can put your mind through are pretty outrageous.
I know. This person says, this is a good point. Dastardly Saboteur says, whoops, it went by really fast. It said, if here, I'm just going to show it so it'll stop moving up.
Dastardly Saboteur. If Kelly Preston was PTS and that's why she got cancer, what does that make John? Is he PTS for being connected to her? Yeah, that's a great question.
Right.
Yep. He's either PTS for being connected to her, or he's SP because he didn't report that she was PTS and not getting better and that the handlings were not working. Yeah, you could go down a rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah. So anyway, there's no right answer because it's all BS.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Again, I always say you can't insert logic because the house of cards will come tumbling down really, really fast the moment you try to apply logic to all of these situations, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Try having all of these fixated in your brain and then having to unravel it to be able to live
Yes.
any sort of normal life.
Yes, like committed to, committed to memory. I mean, the verbatim doctrine, you can't walk that back. It's impossible. Like, we will never be able to not recite the 3 barriers to study, or the, whatever.
Keeping
I mean, just
Scientology
don't even get me
working.
started. Yeah, keeping Scientology working, and the auditor's
Make
code and the supervisor's code and the code of a Sea Org member, and da 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 da. The
make
definition
money,
of a
more money.
team, and yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Ugh, it's
all these
upsetting.
things that we
It's
just
upsetting. But it does show you the pathways in the
level.
brain, and the indoctrination, especially when, like for me, I started learning these things at the age of 4. So you just
Oh
go,
gosh.
yeah, it's no wonder. And it, again, just always goes back to the danger of raising children in cults.
Yes. Here's a lie. Scientology is the authority on the mind. Makes the insane sane and the sane saner. And, makes the insane sane. So that's very interesting. Authority on the mind. Oh my God.
Hmm.
So they have these type 3. Type 3 is when somebody's insane. And it's a PTS type 3. And we would just abbreviate it to type 3. He's type 3, she's type 3. Don't act type 3, just means insane. And but when you're really type 3, supposedly, you've lost all grip on reality. And so there's a whole series of things that L. Hubbard has written out of what you do with people like that. And one of them is isolation. And that was what was done with many people, not just Lisa McPherson, who many people know all about, who died in Scientology's custody under this type 3, quote unquote, handling
Yeah.
at the Flag Land Base. But like Matt was talking about, this one guy named Bill Denton in the PAC base, who he started a relationship with a girl, and they assigned him to the RPS RPF, and he wanted to get out of it because he wanted to be with her or something like that. And then so they assigned, I don't know all the specifics, but they decided that he was type 3, and they put him in this concrete box that was like 20 feet down underneath the blue building, like a old boiler space, where you had to like steeply go down these steps, and then made it, and then closed it and left him in there screaming
What?
until he couldn't scream anymore, and he was just docile, and he came out, and then just cooperated with whatever they asked him to do. This is their type 3 type of thing. You wear them out, and it's just disgusting.
It
They're
is.
no authority on the mind. And I think that all of these things, and we told the FBI all these different things. That's just one example. I mean, I stood at a type 3 watch. I didn't know what the person inside, what was going on with the person, but all I was told is don't let anybody go in or out. And so I stood on that stupid watch for like 3 days with Bill
Ugh.
Dendu. We were singing
Wow.
Elvis Presley up and down the hallways for 3 days, having nothing else to do. But that's what you do, is you just assign people, and they're not any sort of authority, and they don't know what they're doing, and they don't
Yep.
have certification to be treating people with any sort of mental illness, or even to be classifying somebody with a mental illness. It's just ridiculous, and it's dangerous.
Totally.
So,
And let's not forget, they do the exact same thing with medical in the Sea organization. Like, the
yes, they do.
medical officer was doing all kinds of things that were completely illegal. Like, they were not trained nurses. They weren't,
No.
they were doing IVs and all kinds of things that they absolutely should not have been doing. So,
Yeah. Even the dentist shouldn't have been doing what he was doing,
oh
because
my
he
gosh.
gave me the worst stupid bridges that ever existed, with teeth that just kept falling out of them and stuff. I don't know how he got his license, or if he even had one.
Yeah, he had some kind of certification, but because he did have the DDS designation, and I know that he was doing some training, but he was absolutely terrible. My experience with him was he was going to remove my wisdom tooth. But so, him and his wife were like they were just absolutely a terrifying people. So he comes to me and he says, well, you need to have your wisdom tooth removed, but it's too close to your sinus. So I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? He's like, well, if I
Your
take it
nose
out,
is here, yours.
yeah, I know. He's like, well, if I take out the tooth, I might rip your sinus. I'm like, okay, so what happens if you rip my sinus? He's like, well, when you drink, it will come out through your nose.
Is he pulling an April Fool's joke on you? What the hell?
No. So then I'm like, well, forget that. I'm not doing that. So then he takes me into Hemet to another dentist, and this other dentist does the procedure, and the whole time they're just talking back and forth like it was a training session for Bob, basically. It was incredibly frustrating. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And we've been told, like, from x-rays are like, what the heck's this? And we're like, yeah, not a good dentist anyway.
Oh my gracious. So yeah, you should have seen my stupid teeth. I had to pay many thousands of dollars to get them fixed.
Oh boy.
But I did. Okay, here's another one, which is this is a lie. People only work when you muster the bayonets, and penalties for noncompliance need to be too gruesome to be faced and enforced. L. Ron Hubbard actually said that people only work when you muster the bayonets.
Yep.
You got to prod them, and then he had this they're like, it's so hard to describe, but there's like when you're putting a new person onto post, there's different situations that you'll run into. And when they're running around and looking busy and not getting anything done, it's called situation number 3. And so we would say, oh, he's in sit 3, which means that they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off, but no product is coming out. So LRH says what you do is you bait and badger them until they cry and spit out why they're not getting anything done. Anyway, and muster the bayonets and make the penalties for noncompliance too gruesome to be faced and enforce them. And Scientology is super, super creative on how to make too gruesomes for people.
Yep, absolutely. King of that pile is David Miscavige. Captain David Miscavige is best at coming up with too gruesomes.
I like that. King of that pile of poop.
Yep.
Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Here's another one. The purification procedure is scientifically proven through extensive research to rid radiation and drugs lodged in the fatty tissues of your body. Okay, I think they did one pilot person or something like that. It wasn't like documented research, proven anything.
Nope.
And there's no evidence that drugs get lodged into the fatty tissues of somebody's body. There's no evidence of that. I was shocked. I was made to do that stupid thing 3 times.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know. It's exhausting and frustrating sometimes to realize the level of lies that we believed for so many years. It's like, oh my gosh. At a certain point, I go, wow, is there anything I wouldn't have believed? Jeez. Like, and I don't mean that as a like beat yourself up kind of a statement. I mean it as
it's true.
It's the mentality of, our way or the highway. And when you've already closed out any critical thinking, you've already shut down any outside world connections. You've convinced yourself that any negative thought you have is your own fault, and that if you even consider yourself a victim,
you of that.
Yes, exactly. But you enforce it too. Yes, they put the programming in place, but then they make you do the work for them to keep you in that. You know what I mean?
How about getting assigned to the RPF, Rehabilitation Project Force, 4 times? I mean, they were really trying to mold me. Trying to mold me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't get assigned to the rehabilitation project
I
force.
know. Neither did Mark. You and Mark didn't go to
No.
the.
No, but I will say that, I mean, my mother was assigned to it when I was 7, so I wasn't allowed to talk to her while she was doing
Yeah.
that program, nor was I allowed to see her or even stay in the same, like, I didn't see her for several months at least.
Yeah.
But that experience made me in the little voice, that the little in the back quarter that was locked in the back room, I just had it firmly in my head. If I ever get assigned to the RPF, I am out. I am not doing it. So it's a good thing they didn't ever see that side of me, except when I was at the Vegas bus station. I guess that counts. They met her
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
They
When they were
met the
trying,
real me then. They were like, "Oh,
you
whoops."
sat down. You sat down on the floor, right? And
I
they
sat down on
was
my
like
purse, and
they were
honestly, it
trying
was such
to.
a traumatic moment. I don't think I actually said the words out loud. I don't remember, but in my mind, I was like, I fully expected that they were going to drag me out of there. Greg Wilhair was there, and Sharon Johnston, and there were 2 more people
Sure.
in the car waiting for me. At least one of them was Julia Delderfield. I don't know who the other one was. But they were like, "Come with us." And Amy, I hadn't eaten in like 4 days. By that point, I hadn't slept. I was a complete wreck. Like, as the bus was pulling into that bus station, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have $90 left. I could go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing? And get some food." Like,
Yeah.
I was, like I've told you before, I was skin and bones. I was
Yeah.
30 pounds, 25 pounds less than I weigh right now. It's literally could not eat. I was so sick. And then there they are to take me back. And they call Mark and say, "We've got her. She's not coming." And I just snapped. It was like, I sat down
I
on
would have
my
snapped.
purse and I was like, if they freaking lay one finger on me, I'm going to scream. And
Yep.
it's funny because looking back at it, I go, well, I could have just called 911. But again, you know, those elephant-sized rear view mirrors, right? We were
Yeah.
so programmed that the police were dangerous and not to call the police. But I was just adamantly like, maybe somebody will notice if I scream and maybe they might help. I don't know. I've been told my whole life that the world out here is a terrible, dangerous
Terrible.
place. And of all the places, I'm in Las Vegas, where,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, that's like the I think it was
Yeah.
the first time I'd ever even been there, honestly.
Is that right? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh, that is
So
crazy.
so yeah, and they
But
called
yeah.
Mark and said, "Oh no, she's not coming. We've got her." Lied. I didn't hear that part. One of them walked away and called Mark, and they're like, "No, no, Mark's coming back." They told me Mark was coming back, that they talked to him and that he was coming, and so just come back with them and it would all get sorted out. And I'm like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope." I just, I reached my breaking point to where I knew I cannot listen to one single word they say. I was literally like figuratively just plugging my ears. I'm getting on the bus. And they threatened to follow me on the bus too. And I was like, I don't care. And so, of
Yeah.
course, I got on the bus and called Mark because by that point, I had their phone that he told me, don't turn it on. They'll use it to track you, which is exactly what they did. But they
Oh,
knew where I was. So, yeah. Anyway,
yeah. And so did he actually get a call from them?
he did. Yeah. They
He
said,
did.
she's not coming. We've caught her. She's not coming. And he lost his mind. And of course, then, 10 minutes later, when I got on the bus, I called him and I said, I'm coming. He was like, oh,
Oh my
what?
God.
What
It's like
happened?
so
I'm like, they were there waiting for me. Yeah. No, it was
the
crazy.
emotions of what you oh my
I know, it was insane.
God.
Absolutely insane. Anyway, thank God
Yes.
they failed. And here we are today, right, Amy?
Yes, they failed big
Yep.
time.
Yep.
um
Sucks to suck.
Sucks to sucks. Yeah, speaking of which, Scientology has millions of members worldwide. They don't. They say that to their members, and so these people who are like donating all this money think that they're in some schmoozy organization. Well, I hate to break it to you, they have like fewer than I don't know what pygmies, and they just lie.
Yeah.
So I really feel like talking to these people, like that one guy who gave $65 million to Scientology. You're
Yeah.
just keeping a criminal organization afloat. So you're
Yeah.
just as responsible. I don't care
Yep.
if you don't know. Take off your blinders and start looking at what you're donating for.
Yeah. Donate responsibly. You know, look
Yeah.
at the ask to see one person Scientology has actually really helped. You know,
Mhm.
throwing water bottles at a natural disaster does not count.
No. Yeah.
And
And hosing off homeless people on the sidewalk doesn't help either.
no, definitely not. Absolutely.
For the Department of Human Rights or whatever the hell that said on her
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think absolutely it's fair to say that best case scenario, what you think, like 25 to 30,000 worldwide.
Yeah,
And that
that's
includes all the members of the Sea organization. It
Mhm.
includes Captain David Miscavige.
Captain
And
Davy.
it even includes missing Shelley Miscavige. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep,
anyway.
she's in that list.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And it
well,
includes whichever Scientologists have passed away from lack of proper medical treatment since, you know, in the last few years, because we know there's a bunch of those. We're only saying the ones we know about. There's plenty of
yeah.
others.
Mhm. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. And then finally, Scientology is non-denominational. You can be a member of any religion and be a Scientologist. Why do they say that? They want to appear welcoming. It reminds me of like Halloween, you know, like come in, sweetie.
Hotel California.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know, and it's a ugly witch that's opening the door, and you're like, because we welcome everybody, and then you walk in, and then they get you.
yep.
So anyway, it's a falsehood because the first policy in Scientology is keeping Scientology working. That you're meant to read and star rate check out on every course. That every major course that you do has keeping Scientology working as the very first issue that you read, which stamps out of existence any application of anything other than source L. Ron Hubbard. You know,
Yep.
so anyway, it's just a lie that they use to deceive people. One of their many. Anyway, so that was
Yep.
my list. That
Good
was just off
job.
the
That was
top
a
of my
great
head.
list. That was a
I'm
great
sure there's
list.
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more, but anyway, that's what I came up with, just sitting down and jotting down the things that I, you know, used to believe and I know are false. So
Yep.
there you go. I hope
Completely.
some Scientologists watch that and see, you know, you're being lied to. You're being manipulated and it isn't normal.
Yeah. And
No.
no need to demand answers. Just get the heck out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Don't demand answers. You're not going to get them. They got a held
Yep.
down 7, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Oh gosh. Um That's so funny. Somebody says that I'm expressive in my storytelling. Would I ever want to read out loud to school children at a public library? Well, I'm reading out loud to you guys.
Yeah,
You're my school
exactly.
children.
Yes.
Thank you for that. So now I just want to do plugs for like giving. Well, first let's give away something.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
gonna.
absolutely.
I'll do a giveaway of my book right now. How's that
Perfect.
sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, so this is my book, Scientology: Abuse at the Top, and it's a paperback that I recently got produced for the first time, and it's signed by myself and my husband. So for anyone who would like to have a copy of my book, say Queen Bee in the chat, and I'm going to pick somebody in on a countdown. So I'm not going to pick somebody that says book me. I'm going to pick somebody that says Queen Bee. Or Queen BSP, either way.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to count down. There we go. I'm going to count down to 5, 2, 1, 0. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow, they're just all flying. My cursor won't even stop. Why won't my cursor even stop? That is just crazy.
Yep, I've had that before. There we go. Joni Cummings.
Joni Cummings. Queen
Yay.
BSP. Yay, Joni
Nice.
Cummings. You win a copy of my book. So email me, Amy at Scobee-publishing.com with your information, and I'll get it sent off to you right away. Thank you
Nice.
so much. Yes. Okay.
Awesome. Shall we do
You want to
some?
do a giveaway? Or do
Well,
you want to do that later?
yeah, let's do some questions, and then we'll do another giveaway. So we spread it out. How about that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. So you read them out loud. I'll do all the clicking.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Anon A. Hi, Claire. I emailed you an anti-cult booklet for kids, teens to give out at Scientology schools since they try to recruit there, and a couple other emails, but I didn't receive a reply. Did you receive them? I think I did. If you wouldn't mind sending me one of them another time. Last week was incredibly busy, so I did fall behind on my routine of responding to emails and so forth, but I'm getting caught up now. So I have no planned interruptions of scheduled programming upcoming any longer. So thank you for the super chat. And yes, I will. It does ring a bell, but if you could do that, that would be very helpful.
I would like to see the anti-cult booklet.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you for that.
Yes. Jackie, aloha from Jackie of Woggy World, Honolulu. Jackie is the amazing skateboarding woman. Have you seen her video?
Oh, no.
Oh, it's amazing. I'll forward it to you. I'll make a note so I don't forget, because I will forget.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, amazing. She taught herself to skateboard at the age of 60, I think, roughly. Her whole backyard is like a skate park. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yes.
Oh man, at age 60, I creak everywhere. I don't know. I could ever do something like that. Okay, here's the next one.
Joni Cummings, two of my favorite Amazon warriors of SPTV Nation. Love the both of you. That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Joni.
And you just won a book too. So
yes, that's awesome. And Hummingbird, so happy to have made it to Alive. Yes, we're happy you made it too. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just Betsy Crutcher, Claire, I don't know your email, so I sent you a message through your BFG website. Thanks for all you do, and Amy too. Okay, awesome. We just redid the website, so that this will be good to make sure that that comes through. But yeah, absolutely. That's great. I'll make sure that I got that. I'm sure I did, because it was tested before it went live. So thank you. Jenny Wong, ladies, thanks for the generosity with your time and the sacrifices you've made to help all the Scientologists, both still in, those leaving, and those who have left. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Kevin Conklin, Claire and Amy are exempt from flunks.
I highlighted this one. I starred this one.
Oh, that's awesome. Lifetime free pass. Sorry, a billion years pass. Nice. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Kevin is the person who sent us, he won one of our bobblehead picks contests when we were doing bobblehead pictures. Like, people would send in all different kinds of creative pictures with the Mike Rinder bobblehead, and he sent one of Mike Rinder bobblehead and BFG book at the Golden Era Productions sign.
Oh, way to go, Kevin.
Yes, it was amazing.
Nice one.
Yes. Jay Warren, I always knew it wasn't a choice. Thankfully, they never got to against my non-Scientology family, since they didn't object in any way to me being there, but they checked my Facebook and made me block. Yeah, disconnection. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. They check your Facebook and tell you who to freaking block.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of crap is that?
I know. My favorite was so my stepdad is obviously my stepdad, but his family, none of his other family were ever in, and they were just so sweet. They're from South Carolina, so just sweet Southern people. And so my step aunt's son, my cousin, recently came to visit us and told us that my stepdad had been telling him to block me on Facebook, and he was like, Yeah, hell no. Go to hell. You don't tell me who I'm going to be friends with.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
It's stupidity
Yep.
completely.
Paris Cashin. Did you all know about the 9/11 terrorist attacks when they happened on 2001? I'll let you answer first.
Okay, yes, and, at that time, I was working in data. Um, they have a whole division called data, and that's the branch that provides all the information to the whole organization. So, um, I was aware of it, and I was keeping everybody updated on what was happening. So I
Yeah.
did know. Mhm.
Yep. I absolutely knew too. In fact, so at that time I was in Religious Technology Center. So, I was number 3, and Maria Starkey, who was David Miscavige's receptionist at the time, called my where I lived, because I had a phone there, so I could be reached in case of urgent emergencies or anything like that. Just a landline. So she called that, and the embarrassing part is that I'd never been to New York City. I had no idea what the Twin Towers were. And also on top of that, I'd gotten home at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'd had like an hour or two of sleep. But either way, so I remember she called, and so I was repeating back what she was saying to me. Mark was there. And by his reaction, I realized the severity of what was going on. Not because anything she was saying was really processing, but like I was saying, oh my gosh. And Mark's like, oh my gosh. Like
Mhm.
walking, like just freaking out. And of course, anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
that day will be etched in my mind forever. In the villas, which is where Religious Technology Center offices were, the news was on all day long.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. And the sad part is that then David Miscavige put out that crazy IG network bulletin. What was it called?
Yeah. It was something Osama bin Laden or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like a call to action for all
Yeah.
Scientologists, and like, we need to do what we're doing harder and faster, and this is just proof that we need to get to work and get
Yeah.
serious and get our job done. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So that went out to all Scientologists, and everybody was supposed to come in and donate.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that was crazy. I had been up there was a restaurant at the very, very top of one of the, World Trade Towers, and I went up there I remember because I was in the Sea Org and I was on vacation. I was only 17. I had just gotten married to David Paul, and his family lived in New Jersey, right across the turnpike, and so we had an evening out with his brothers up at the top of the World Trade Tower Center, and, I remember thinking, "Oh my god, they charged us a cover charge to come in." It was $5, and I thought, like, "This place." Oh, and there was somebody in the bathroom that wanted a tip for cleaning, and I was like, "Okay, I don't have any money. I'm a Sea Org member."
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, anyway, trying to go into the real world when you're so foreign, it's so foreign. But
Yes,
anyway.
I know. It is. Betsy Crutcher. Did you have to carry around a pocket dictionary? No, we didn't. In fact, Hubbard's advised against pocket dictionaries because they didn't have
Yeah,
enough definitions, so would be too quick. He would say it was just quickying, clearing the words, because it didn't have all the actual definitions of the words, so you weren't allowed to use a pocket dictionary.
right, yeah, and it didn't have derivations. That was a big thing because every time you cleared a word, you had to clear the derivation, like where the word came from.
Yep, the etymology. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, how fun is that?
Yep. LJ, your strength and survival skills are inspiring. You are doing the work of angels.
Uh,
That's awesome.
that's
Thank you,
yeah,
LJ.
yeah.
We
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
s thank you so much.
Brick Mama FF. Claire, how was your bus ride home from Vegas? Did you stay to yourself, get some sleep, find any food? How did you fare?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I know. It was crazy. From that, so when I called Mark, he was like, I obviously lost his mind, and he was like, okay, at every stop call me because, they had threatened to follow me on the bus. So
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't out of the woods. I so desperately wanted to sleep. I so desperately wanted to eat. But then the entire rest of the way, I couldn't relax. I couldn't sleep at all.
Mhm.
And it was funny. I did talk to a couple of people on the bus ride, but it was just so awkward. Like,
Yeah,
like, what do you say? Like, I remember there was this one
I'm
guy.
escaping a cult.
Yeah, no, there was this one guy. Well, any questions they asked just led to really strange conversations. Like, um, it's like, oh, this one girl had a little baby and she was going to visit her mom or something like that. And she's like, oh, so, what's your deal? I'm like, oh, I'm going to see my husband. Oh, okay. Yeah, he moved to Kansas City, so I'm going to be with him. Oh, when did he move? Oh, like 3 weeks ago. Oh, without you? Yeah, it was just like, oh, you don't have any bags? No, I don't have any bags. Just my purse.
What about a couch? Do you
Yeah,
have, like,
like,
anything?
oh my gosh, it was just funny. And then I was just like, oh boy, awkward. And plus, I'm just like, oh, the capacity to have a normal conversation came later. I was just so stressed out and so like constantly looking over my shoulder. And from that point forward,
Yes.
every time I got to the bus station, I made sure never to turn my phone on again, because obviously I knew by that point, I knew they knew where I was heading, and I
Mhm.
knew that they were going to be trying something like they just had. So, anyway, it was crazy. But I did love driving through Colorado. And that's where it was the first time I'd ever been through Colorado, which is obviously where I live now. And like, I remember seeing the moonlight on the river, and I was like, wow, it's so beautiful here. And, just driving through the Rocky Mountains was an incredible experience. Even as scared as I was like, enjoying the views at least. So
Yeah. What about your Big Mac, though? Did you get a Big Mac?
I didn't. So
What the
sad.
heck? What did you
I
eat?
I think I still had a few Tiger Milk bars left over.
Oh, man,
It's
we used
fine.
to eat those.
Yeah, I know. Even when I say it, I ate so many that I get the taste in my mouth. Like,
Yeah,
it comes
me
the
too.
the
It's because
texture.
you would have to skip meals,
Yes.
and so you had to have a stash. Otherwise, you're gonna die. So
Yeah,
you
quite
had
literally.
to have a
Yeah.
stash. Yeah, you had to have a stash.
Yeah.
And, what else was I
But
gonna say?
Oh, but I
Something.
was gonna say,
Oh,
so when Mark picked me up at the bus
yeah,
station, I think we went to Denny's, I think. I don't know, I'd have to ask Mark, but
nice.
I remember as
Nice.
Denny's, and we got a whole meal and talked through everything. I
Yeah.
was like, "They told me you called the police." He's like, "I did not call the police." I'm like, "Okay," because I still had like
Yeah,
these things like, "Well, you shouldn't have done that. Why'd you
yeah,
leave me behind? Gosh darn it."
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I don't think you said, "Gosh darn it," either. You would
I didn't. I did not. I was not. No. I was.
but what a relief to be with him, boy. Yeah, you're talking about going through Colorado and seeing that and how relaxing that would be. I mean, I went home to, Seattle, Washington, which is where my family was, and, there's water, and there's mountains, and there's trees, and there's fresh air, and there's birds, and there's squirrels, and all these wonderful things, and just to be able to be in that space,
Yeah.
and we went to the ocean and just look for miles, because I was such a captive for so many years
Yeah.
at that int base for 20 stupid years
Yeah.
behind the fence of the int base. Yeah, I did go, do some things very few times. Like one time they sent me to be the commanding officer of the Commodore's Messenger Org International Extension Unit in LA.
Yep.
And then because my husband got in trouble, I was brought back up and I was put under guard for 2 months out at the swamp on the property,
Yep.
under watch, doing heavy manual labor for something I didn't even do. So, yeah,
Insane.
yeah. Anyway, it was a happy time to get out of there and to get someplace beautiful.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, Catherine Olson.
Hi, Catherine.
Amy. Hi, Catherine. Welcome back. Amy, I was in Data ILO at the same time you were in Data CMOent. There you go.
You were my little counterpart then. That's awesome. Yeah. So
That
you
is
were having
awesome.
to give everybody the information about what was going on at 9/11 as well. Yeah.
Crazy. Ruth W. I love you both. That is all. Thank you, Ruth. We love you too. Always great to see
And
you
that is
here.
all. We love you too.
DP Neverin, I am floored by all of the things that you were not familiar with that are just part of everyday life for us never ends. My heart goes out to you all. Yep.
Yeah. That would be another fun list to put together as all the things we weren't familiar with.
Oh yeah.
Because
Totally.
I don't even think we've talked about that, and it's crazy. It's
No.
crazy, the things that we had to figure out.
Even just the things from media blackout year, you know, because we had media blackout, no TV,
Yeah.
we weren't watching. So it's like, oh, remember that episode of Friends when da da da? Nope, I never saw
No.
Friends.
I never saw it. You know,
No.
the first time I ever saw King of Queens was when I left.
Yes, me
And I
too.
thought, and I was like, it's sad that Leah's a Scientologist because, you know, this is a really good series. I have to get past the fact that she's a Scientologist, but I really enjoy it anyway.
Yep.
And then she left, and I was like, yes,
Yes.
oh
Exactly. I
gosh,
know. That's awesome.
yeah,
All righty. Joni Cummings. Thank you, Queen Bee, for the book. I just sent you an email. I'm over the moon about it because of the fact that your book has been on my list of books to read. That's amazing. Awesome. And
yay!
congratulations, Joni, again.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, and I'm glad you're over the moon. Yay!
Yes. Eric S. Question: do OT8s truly believe they have superpowers? Not to themselves, no. In fact,
No,
over on Growing Up in Scientology, Aaron did an interview a few weeks back with Mary Kahn, who was OT8, and she talked about that specifically, which I was enlightening. So yeah, no, they and it's funny even that Hubbard says you can't show off your superpowers because then it will create an like a disbelief for people that they could ever
right?
attain that. So that they have the power to move things and cause over the physical universe, the world and everything, but they're just not allowed to physically show it. Yeah. So wink, wink, nudge,
Oh,
nudge. Bunch of
yeah,
nonsense.
it doesn't exist, you know. And
Nope.
then every individual person is thinking, I'm probably the only one, so I can't say that I don't really, you know.
Right.
And meantime, they hold up their certificates. Oh, I've achieved this level, and you know, whatever. You know,
That's right.
Scientologists are really status happy.
Yes,
They
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 absolutely
want
are.
these
Yeah.
they want a certificate, they want to be acknowledged, they want to stand up at graduation and be, you know, praised upon. They want to donate and then stand next to David Miscavige with a stupid statue that's, or what is it? Not a statue. What are those things called?
Oh,
Awards, you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah, the
the
Gold
award,
Cup awards,
yeah, exactly.
whatever they're called, that are
Trophy.
bigger than trophy, that are bigger than David Miscavige himself.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, it's just status, man, and there's irresponsible dudes that are just status happy.
Yep, absolutely. Addison and Steele. Amy, is your book on Audible?
Yes, it is, and it's on Amazon as an Audible book, and it's not done by myself. And I plan to do a series of chapters of my book where I read it and also add commentary because it'll be fun because so much has transpired. And when I wrote it as a like a big fat knowledge report. It just had to be fact, 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 fact because Scientology was threatening me with legal and stuff all the time. But anyway, I
You
put it
could
out
always
anyway.
consider doing a re-release of it in your voice.
That's true.
Yep,
Yeah.
that would
But
be amazing.
I like the idea of adding my commentary, you know,
Yes,
of
I
like,
like that too. I just
yeah,
know, so for example, I recently listened to Jenna Miscavige Hill's book on Audible. I'd read it when it first came out, but I listened on Audible and
yeah.
she didn't do it. I suppose like it was in another voice,
Hmm.
which is fine, but um obviously we both know Jenna personally, so it didn't have
Yeah,
that same personal touch where I started
I
listening
know.
to Mark's book on Audible. But the thing that was most jarring is that there were certain pronunciations of things that were obviously non-authentic. Like I took very detailed notes to send to Jenna to be like, you might want to have them not pronounce it OSA instead of OSA. You know what I mean? Just as an
I
example.
heard that. I heard
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's awesome. And the talent who did mine, the first drafts that I received of the audiobook were David Miscavige. And I just thought,
Yes.
oh, maybe I should leave it like that. I love it. It would drive him around the bend. Oh,
Yes.
gosh. Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Okay, sorry, I got distracted by my dog barking. Wonder Woman. Question: has anyone ever left Scientology and sued for shoddy medical treatment by inadequate Scientology medical people? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
If
don't usually leave and then sue because you leave and you've got a penny to your name and they've
and there's
got
statute
billions
of
of dollars.
limitations that play in, and it's very daunting to, yeah,
Mhm.
speaking from personal experience. And Amy,
Mhm.
you got a taste of that from depositions. And yeah, it's not fun. It's
Avoid it like the plague.
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't
know,
recommend suing them as a course of action unless you absolutely are committed to doing so and prepared for a very long battle.
painful. Yeah.
Yeah,
But sometimes it's just absolutely 100% the right thing to do, and I support
absolutely.
people who are doing that. Like when you decided that you were going to, I was on board, and even though it was terrible, I didn't care. I was going to help you,
I
you
so
know.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sending
was
me their
really,
asses.
yeah. Murphy, question: did you attend Scientology schools? What was your early education like?
That
You
would
want to
be
go
for you
first?
because, well, I left school, like I was in ninth grade when they hired me full time at 14 years old. And so I don't even remember if I finished the ninth grade, but I never saw a day of high school and never saw another day of school. And then I joined the Sea Org when I was 16. So I was full time from 14 to 16. When I joined the Sea Org, I didn't see any school either. So yeah, my education is I'm a ninth grade person.
Yep. So my education was, I went to primary school, elementary school in England. It was the public school, to start off with. So my beginning elementary level education was completely normal, and I loved it. Honestly, it was the only thing about my life that I enjoyed, and that was why even so I was in the cadet org. Um, my mom was a member of the Sea organization, but ironically, as a member of the Sea organization, she couldn't afford to send me to Scientology school. So that's why all the cadets went to public school at that time. That's where, when I fell out of a bunk bed when I was a cadet and I broke my collarbone, I went to school anyway the next day because I loved school so much. And of course, that didn't go over well. Going to school with a broken bone and your head cut open, it's not really received well. It didn't shine a good light on Scientology. Anyway, that's a story for another day. When I finished elementary school, my parents moved me over to Greenfields School, which is the English UK equivalent of Delphi, which is the Scientology schools in LA and Portland, Oregon. So I was there for 2 years, I think. My education already went to hell in a handbasket because their teachers are not accredited, and it was a disaster. And then we moved to the US when I was 13, and I never was put back in school. So I was studying at the library on my own for a bit, kind of doing curriculum and reading a lot of books, and I would write these long essays. It was just really weird though, coming from England. I was learning about Tudors and the Stuarts and the Battle of Hastings and 1066 and all of England's history, to then coming to Ferdinand Magellan and Christopher Columbus. And, so I would read these encyclopedia articles and then write these long essays about them. And nobody ever read the essays. So it was probably kind of useless. I did start to study. I started to study for my GED and then got whisked away into the Sea Organization, and the rest was history. Here we are.
Yeah. Anyway, we're very smart people, even if we haven't done a formal education, we can do anything, and we're super smart.
Yep, absolutely. Betty Crutcher, question: if they die of cancer, do they die believing they did it to themselves? Yeah, probably. I would say yes to that. It's a great question, though.
It's doing it to themselves, or just they didn't figure out who they were PTS to. It's something wrong with them for sure. Yeah. Sadly,
I hope that I honestly hope that some of those people found peace with that before. Yeah. Anyway.
I know. Yeah.
Free Xenu project. Question: so if you get sick, could your PTS be Apple Box Boy? It could, but you could never say that. Yeah.
I know somebody who did.
I know a bunch of people.
Said,
there was a whole project that was done to go through and find every staff member at the headquarters who'd ever said that David Miscavige was their PTS item. And those people were, I think, sent to the Rehabilitation Project Force after, I think this was right after. Yeah. Anyway.
No kidding. Wow. I didn't know that. I know one person that said it. Or thought it, and then it came up in their session, and then everyone knew that they, had that idea, because then that person had to be pummeled, But yeah, I didn't know that they were sending people to go and look through the files.
It was like
they would have found it in mine. They would have found it in mine.
Well, because remember, there's there's a Hubbard writing about it. Like, if somebody says a good hat is their PTS item, then that person has evil purposes. You remember that reference? Yeah. So of course
there's always something wrong.
I know. It's just there's always an answer. It's always like black and white, and there's always the answer, and it's their way or the highway. And it's just not real life. It isn't.
No. How frustrating is that? Yeah.
Yeah. Question. Oh, love it. Question: how long did it take after you left to not feel bad about having feelings, reactions, which are human? Seems Scientology kills anything naturally human in the name of clearing the planet. Yeah, absolutely.
It took a little while.
It took a while for me too. I felt like I'd been broken for a while. Like, I did. I really felt broken.
And part of the thing is, like, I didn't understand how impersonal I was until I started interacting with other people. And then I could see it. Like, I was so uncomfortable just talking to someone, because something else had to be being done. I couldn't relax. I couldn't just, kick up my feet on the coffee table, sit back, and, like, over a glass of wine, have a conversation. No, it was like, oh my God, something had to be done. I remember just thinking, my husband would sit down and he would turn on the TV, and I would just be, What? It's in the middle of the day. What the hell? Turn off the TV. Don't you have anything to do?
Right. Can't be unproductive. Yes.
I could not have it at first at all. I just could not have it. He goes, it's my lunchtime. I said, it's in the middle of the day. I can't stand it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's funny.
It took a long time for different things. Like, that's just a teeny example. Like, my brother would call me or whatever, be like, what do you need? Okay. Anything else? And I couldn't just, like, okay, let's give him the time of day. Now I like, I'm not going to be the one that hangs up. You are important. What you have to say is important. So, I'm going to take the time, and I'm going to say, I love you. No, I love you more. Because it's crazy the way that I didn't give my family or loved ones the time of day when I was a Scientologist.
Yeah, I know. I know. I always tell my kids, I'm like, I love you. I'm here for you. You're absolutely my priority over anything. And I
Yeah.
told you today was a huge day in our house because our
Mhm.
oldest son had his first day of school of his last year of high school. Oh my gosh, I
Yes.
can't even believe I have a senior. It's like, whoa.
I know.
I'm thoroughly enjoying this whole experience through my kids. So
Yes, yes. It's fabulous. It's
yeah,
really fabulous.
it's
I remember when
it's
he was born, and
yep.
now he's like he towers over the both of you. He's so tall.
I know he's huge, giant, and he's such a sweet boy. So
Yes, he
he'll
is.
always be my little newborn baby, but I know he's not anymore. He's a senior in high school. Ah!
That's amazing. Amazing. This looks like it's
Uh,
our last question here.
all right, awesome. Free Zunu project. Question, Claire. So if someone wanted to get out and they actually called the cops, would that be a big help, do you think, Claire and Amy? We're getting there. We're working on that. We're working on making that a better option. I don't think that they would is the problem. That's my answer. Because again, knowing my scenario, I should have, but I didn't
Mhm.
because I was scared. And
Mhm.
yeah. What do you say to that, Amy?
Well, I mean, I wish that people had the ability to call the police because any place I was, we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have, an outside line that would get out. So I didn't have the ability to call the police.
Right.
If you're a regular Scientologist, you have your phone, and you also have a computer or whatever. But just in the Sea Org, I didn't have that ability. I think some people did have phones, like from COB's office, they had them, or who he wanted to contact. It was just only for that use, though.
Right.
Is that what you had?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
had a Nextel radio and phone. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't own it. So they Scientology owned it, and because of that, they were able to, access the records. They just call up Nextel and say, "Oh, our phone has been stolen. What was the last
Mm.
phone call?" And that's how they figured out that I was heading towards Kansas City. And that's how they
Conniving little.
figured out to intercept me. They knew exactly what
Mm-hmm.
bus I was on and everything. Like it
Yeah.
was not an accident. They knew exactly
No.
where I was going. So
They.
yeah.
Whoops. They have people. Also, like, I think they have somebody in Google, honestly, and they have people in the travel reservation airlines. Like somehow they always know where you're
Well,
flying to.
yeah, because they have travel agents. That's how they do that. Like William
Oh,
Delderfield was a registered travel agent, so he could just look up and search names in the airline system. That's
I think it's illegal.
Yeah, Liz Rossi was the one that was the registered travel agent in Religious Technology Center. Like every
You mean
organization.
what?
Yeah, yeah,
What a stupid criminal
yeah,
conniving piece of crap. No
yeah,
kidding.
yeah, absolutely. That's how they check those
Those are Sea
records.
Org members. If you were wondering,
Yes.
those are Sea Org members. So Sea Org members get their license or whatever to be
Yep.
an official travel agent so that they can track people that they want to hunt down.
Yes,
I
exactly.
didn't know that part.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So, yep.
Anyway,
uh,
never ceases to surprise me.
yep. Not a sheeple. My oldest will be 40 on Sunday. I feel you. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes.
Time flies. It really does. I still, of course, remember when they were little itty bitties, just born, newborn, and it felt so overwhelming because I had not been around any children at all in the Sea organization, obviously. And it just, of course, it was a huge joy, but it was also felt like just a new phase of life that was going to be that way forever. you know
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
to find out, it really does fly by. People would always say that, oh, it flies by really quickly. I'm like, sure, yeah, whatever. Now here I
Yeah.
am. uh
Yes. Okay, so I just saw this one. I wanted to put it up to see what you have to say about that.
Okay, Valhalla McGoffey. Would it make a difference if the escapee is a minor? What would they need to say so the cop wouldn't think they are just a rebellious runaway teen and return them to the Scientology guardian? Yeah, that's a good question, and that's where it would get challenging. Um, would it make a difference? It would make a difference. Like, for example, in my interview with Catherine Spolino, she talked about how she and Miriam Francis were taken back to Scientology to pack by LAPD. The key in this day and age, I think there's better awareness of abusive situations for minors. So if the minor just simply said, I can't go back from where I came, I'm not safe, that I think would result in a different course of action. But better not. That's like, honestly, if the person was actively escaping, I wouldn't mention anything about Scientology. Just say, I'm not safe. I need to get to a safe place where I can make a phone call.
Yeah. I'm starring a couple others because I wasn't over here seeing what people were saying when I was looking at stars.
Yes.
So now I've seen some stuff that I want to make sure. I'm sorry if I miss your questions, guys. Oh my gosh, because how do you do both?
Yes, I know. We have to get better at this. It's fine. We can well, actually, we're going to adjust our hats, Amy. I'll keep an eye on the new comments coming, and that's my job. While you're putting up comments, I have to make sure to keep an eye on the chat and mark the questions, because I wasn't doing that. I was just focusing on reading them, and that was negligent on my part.
And it's not a flunk, Claire. It's not a flunk.
I know. I'm just saying, we'll just always keep getting better, keep getting better.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, so I'm going to put up some more, okay? Okay.
Yes.
So
okay, here. Okay. Free Zunu project. Question, Claire. So if someone wanted to get out and they actually called the cops, would that be a big help? Oh, we answered that. We did answer that one.
Oh, did I just not? I failed to.
That's okay. That's why I was, yeah. Anne-Marie, when trying to escape, would they use physical force to restrain you? Well, they have. That's my answer to that question. Like, there are many, many instances. There was a woman walking down Highway 79 who'd escaped from the Gilman Hot Springs headquarters, and they literally just forced her into a van. They did the same to Mark Yeager when he tried to escape. So yeah, they will not hesitate to use physical force. It just depends on witnesses and what's going on. Yes, exactly. So for example, in the Las Vegas bus station, that's why I expected them to use physical force. I didn't obviously factor in, oh, they just chased me across state lines. They pursued me across state lines, and they're now in Las Vegas, where they don't have the LAPD in their pocket, kind of thing. They don't have law enforcement contact that they can just go, oh yeah, no, it was just a no biggie, So I just wasn't aware of those factors at that time, which is why I acted expecting physical force.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Kendra Johnson, question. I asked Liz also, how many Black people did you know in Scientology?
It's very few.
Yeah.
But at the Int base, we had I recruited Tony. Do you remember Tony?
Tony Pinder, yes.
Yeah, he was from England.
Yeah, I knew him. I knew him at St. Hill.
What?
Yeah,
he was a dancer.
I did training drills with him.
Oh, no kidding. But so I recruited him to be, I was in the Hubbard Communications office, and I in charge of it. And then to be my deputy, I recruited him from United Kingdom. So unfortunately, I got him up to the Int base, and he's still there because I saw him in a recent ad. And he's now in film editing. That's what he does. I hope he's doing okay. Because I feel responsible for bringing people up there. Faith Schermerhorn.
She
was.
Yeah, she's out now, I think.
Jesse
Gerald Duncan.
Is she out?
Well,
Faith?
I'm sure she's not still at the property. That's what I meant. I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
she's still in the Sea organization.
I didn't know that.
I don't think
That
so.
would be amazing
Yeah.
because yeah,
Faith, give
I
us a
want people.
call. We'd love to talk to
Yes.
you.
Hey, Faith, if you're watching this, you know that you and I always got along. Give me a call. um, let's see. So Faith and Tony,
There
Jesse
was Cliff
Prince was there for,
Thomas, Crystal Simmons.
yeah, Cliff
Crystal Simmons
Thomas.
came later.
Where's he?
Who?
Yeah,
Cliff Thomas? Oh,
yeah. Left a long time
yeah,
ago,
he left a long
right?
time ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, Jesse Prince was an executive there, and then he left. He was one of the only people that ever stood up to David Miscavige. In fact, he brought a gun to the party. And that story is really something else. He wrote about it in his book.
Yep. The
Um,
expert witness is his book
yeah,
title. Yep.
yep, he told me that story because we went to, Hamburg together to speak out on, not together, but we were both there at the same time,
Yeah.
like Mark was there too, and,
Yes.
to speak out against Scientology there. But, very few, but those are the ones that I know, and so it sounds like only Tony is the one that's left, the person that,
Crystal
oh, maybe
Simmons.
Crystal.
Crystal Simmons is
She
still there. She's done hate videos on yeah, she's done a few different hate videos.
has she?
Yep.
Sadly.
Yep, exactly.
Anyway, but
One in coma. Question: what did the musicians on the bass do all day and what were their stats? Yeah, good question. Um they did practice a lot. They also did the scores, the music for all the promotional videos and, for the events and for the films, and they would have to come up with the scores and then record those. Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
know that they were doing. And they would
yeah.
always be up around the clock 24/7 leading up to every single event.
Yeah, and then they're expected to get up on stage and perform at their best, you know?
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. I think they're, I don't know what they had, all kinds of different stats, but I think numbers of scores approved was one of them, and it was always 0 because it didn't matter if they submitted 100, they wouldn't get looked at, and so they so they were always
Yes.
in trouble for being down stats.
Yes, and then they also had to do special private performances for Tom Cruise on many occasions.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise, man, you are sponsoring a cult, a dangerous, destructive cult. Open your eyes. And if you already know what's going on behind the scenes, which I do think he knows, then you belong in jail with David Miscavige because
Yep.
you're condoning this organization
Yep.
and everything that goes on there. So, on a lighter note, I think we do an end giveaway or what?
Yes, we do. Should we do 1 or 2 final giveaways? As the special reward for all of those who are here still and stayed with us till the very end, we will
Yes.
reward you with a giveaway. How about that?
Should we do a bobblehead?
Yeah, let's do a bobblehead. Team Mike. Boom. Yay. Mike Rinder, the one and only, our family of choice, the rock of the world.
Yep. Absolutely.
And yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's do 2 bobbleheads. I'll do one and you do another one. How about that?
Okay.
All right. So whatever you want to say, comment away, bobble me or Team Mike or any of those will suffice. And I'll do the first one. You do the second one. How about that, Amy?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. So on 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Trisha Matson. You win the first of the Mike Rinder bobblehead giveaways. So please shoot me an email, claire@blownforgood.com with your address, and we will get that shipped off to you tomorrow. Yay.
Yay. And keep it coming, Team Mike. Oh,
Yes.
I'm an Amy Bobble Me. OBG Foster.
OBG Foster. I'm an Amy. Amy Bobble Me. Okay, then.
I don't know what that meant, but it caught my attention.
There you go. That works. That did it. And that is our final giveaway for the week.
Yes, and so they write to you for the bobblehead.
Yes,
So
Claire at blownforgood.com with your address, and we'll get that shipped off to you tomorrow.
nice.
Yes.
Okay, so again, you can order my book, Abuse at the Top, at my website, which is scobee-publishing.com. And you can order Blown for Good at blownforgood.com. And for all the people, nearly 1,000 people that are watching right now, we thank you so much. We want you to subscribe to our channel and smash that like button. And my channel is Queen Bee-SP, and then of course Blown for Good.
Yay.
Anyway, I love being with you.
You too.
Claire.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. And we will be back at it again, same time, same place next Wednesday.
Yes, we will. Okay, everyone. Sending you lots of love.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.